Hey guys, I just want to share with you because I'm reading through a fully favorable ALJ decision, and we usually ignore this section because it's not part of the substance of the decision, but it's part of the regular, I almost want to say disclaimer language that might come in the cover letter for any decision. And aside from the fact that the hearing was on May 22nd, the decision was dated May 29th. Huh. Granted, I get it 2 weeks later because our mail is slow, and I couldn't get it from the electronic file because it was a paper file. If you don't know what a paper file is, it's a nightmare. And they've got to get rid of this. They've got to get rid of it. They are not typical. They're for these weird kind of cases. This was an overpayment case. You've probably heard me bitch and moan about it before. It's very satisfying, but it is 20 times more work, 30 times more work than a regular disability claim. Okay. And you don't get paid, really. So anyway, but it was hugely satisfying, and I made a friend out of it. So it was pretty cool. Here is what I want to get to. All right. So person has a fully favorable. In the little language that people maybe don't read because it's in the cover letter and not in the actual decision with the merits, it concerns the fact that that ALJ can be overturned. All right. So here's the paragraph. I'm going to share it. I'm not good at sharing, but I'm going to try. All right. You see? You will see here. Yeah. You see it? Okay. The appeals council may review my decision on its own. This is where the judge is telling you that his or her decision is vulnerable, not on its merits per se, but just vulnerable as to the power it has until 60 days has passed. Then it's far more secure. The appeals council may review my decision even if you do not appeal. Of course, we're not appealing. We got exactly what we wanted. They may decide to review my decision within 60 days after the date of the decision. So my decision is 5/29. I know I have to they probably have even less than till July 29th because there's probably an extra day or two in there. More than 60 days, maybe. Yeah, something like that. The appeals council will mail you a notice of review if they decide to review my decision. So the point that this should tell you is, I know a lot of the time when we have our hearing, which we've waited forever for, right? And then it's very frustrating to have to wait and wait and wait for the decision. I just had a claim, hearing was in March, and just got word of the decision, and it's not good. Young person. I kind of figured this would probably happen for a round or two, given the nature of the case. Not that the person's not disabled, but just the nature of the way the SSA is going to handle it. So we will push on, and I will file again for this person who totally deserves to win until we get a win. But aside from that, that was a long wait for a negative. And sometimes the theory goes longer waits are worse. I can't say if that's true. I guess I kind of feel like it is, but I don't keep stats. So anyway, bigger point. When you're antsy and you're jonesing for your decision, remember this: a good decision, if it's not properly cited by the judge, citations are supposed to be in for every finding he makes. All those little statements in there are supposed to be citing to a piece in usually it's the medical evidence file, section F, but not necessarily, because there's third-party statements that go in a different section. There's your function report that goes in a different section. Your work history report goes in a different section. So all those pieces of evidence, because those are statements from you or other people, in addition to the statements from your doctors, which is in the F section, everything's got to be cited to. The judge can't come to a conclusion about something without showing which evidence brought him to the conclusion. Okay, so it's very nitpicky, pinpoint citations, we refer to them as, 2F at page 23 or 507 or, so they know right where to go for whatever he's talking about. So rushing them, not that I think they would let you rush them, they're professionals, but in your head, trying to rush them to get through and just give you a decision, if it's going to be an award decision, you want that to be thorough. you want that to be well cited, because then it's going to have little to no chance of getting pulled by appeals counsel sua sponte on its own. As they're saying, they do. I'm not sure whether it's random, because I know there are such things as random audits, quality assurance, all that business. I know it happens on initial and on recon, and it happens on ALJ, and here's where you're going to know about it, because it's going to be in that cover letter. It should be in every cover letter that goes on top of the decision when you get it. So haste makes waste, and just try to have a little bit more patience as you're going through. Now, of course, if you get a denial, you're going to be potentially even more angry. But that's also another reason why I always say, don't sit on your laurels when your hearing's done. Treat, because if you have to go to appeals counsel, which sometimes it takes a year for them to review it, you're sitting there without a word. There's going to be no word to you or your lawyer, and just waiting for them to review it. I mean, it's an arduous process, I'm sure, and they have a lot of them. And if you're sitting there not, well, this would be after the ALJ, but not continuing to treat, you might live to regret it, because that could be a period of evidence that you're going to need if something goes awry. If you don't get the award, or if you get the award and it gets pulled for appeals counsel, if it gets remanded, you always have to have fresh evidence, because now you're back in front of the judge again, waiting, and everyone should be treating when they're waiting for a hearing, right? Getting all those small and big impairments that we always talk about treated. So just try to be patient, keep doing your treatment, and cross your fingers that if it's a fully favorable, like this one, this appeals counsel does not decide to pull it for review on its own. Okay. So that's always not fun. I've never had one. It's never happened to me on a fully favorable. It's never happened to me on an unfavorable either. So I don't think it's common, but it's in there and it's worth noting. And I think it was in a mail feed from a group I have where people email Social Security disability issues. It's many professionals in this group. And someone just had a fully favorable yanked. It went back to hearing. And I believe, I'm going to stop the share. I believe the judge, he was still on board with the award, just dotted the I's and crossed the T's and made it stick this time. So it's not necessarily going to be a bad thing, but now you have to wait all that extra time. That could be 6 months, a year. The ones that are remanded from appeals counsel are supposed to be at the front of the line for hearings. So there is that. Okay. I will chat with you guys later. Just wanted to share that. I didn't stop sharing that, did I? Ugh. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time, but always know it ain't over till Fat Lady sings, I guess. Bye now.